Welcome back to the channel, guys. Are you looking to get to 400? I think that's why you're watching this video right now. So I'm going to run you through the fastest and most efficient way to get all three characters to 400 in less than a week. Let's take a look at how we're going to do this. Before we get started, I want to assume that you guys are interested in doing this for all three characters. This is the most efficient way to do it, is having all three characters. The methods I will describe will work with one character, but you will see why later in this video that having three makes this method a lot faster to getting to 400 within even 1 week. So if you are just getting started, you might be able to get your hands on what is called a spark of light that will get your character to level 40 under one use of this spark of light. So I think you do have to complete the game or get to level 40 on one character before you get one of these, but this will help you get all three characters to level 40. And once you get all three characters to level 40 by just completing story missions, doing some strikes, you then can apply this video to getting your characters to level 400 in terms of their light level. Once you've successfully gotten all three of your characters to level 40, you're ready to start farming your light level. The first milestone in year 3 that you're going to shoot for is 385. The method that you're going to want to take to complete this first milestone is heroic strikes. Now, being level 40 isn't enough to just do a heroic strike on your own. You're going to want to get some help from either the forums. You can even get some help from myself if I'm available. But heroic strikes are going to be the easiest way to get to 385 in the fastest amount of time, because regular blue armor drops and weapon drops will drop at 385 in the heroic strike. The engrams will not. The engrams will decrypt up to 365. So if you're running other strikes such as just the regular Siva strikes, you can get engram drops up to 365 for the blues if this is easier for you to do on your own. But if you can get a team on the forums or just some buddies that you have that play the game that are a higher light level to help you out with heroic strikes, you can get to 385 immediately just through blue armor and weapon drops. While you're completing these strikes, you want to save all the materials you gather, whether it's armor materials, weapon materials, relic iron, spin metal, all of this, because the next goal for your light level is 390. You can get 390 armor from the faction packages. This is why you want to save your materials. Look at the faction that you're under, whatever material it is, relic iron or spin metal, like I said, or you can use weapon parts or armor materials to rank them up, as well as you just saw there. 390 weapons can drop from these packages, 390 armor can drop from these packages, as you saw there, 390 ghosts can drop from these packages. So this is the next milestone that you're going to want to shoot for. So while you're getting your 385 gear in strikes, save all your materials, pop a Vanguard booster, and try not to double up on your packages, because you will lose a package if you double up, but try to get as many packages as you can saved up for when you get to 385 to start popping them to get to 390. Once we get to level 390, this is where the serious leveling begins. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our Rise of Iron book and access the Rise of Iron armor. This requires us to get to at least level 16 in our book, which isn't too hard with some of the available activities, such as the missions that you can complete. Just getting the 6 or 7 missions done in Rise of Iron is very quick. The Metal and Flesh quest line, not too hard. Some of these things that you can easily get to level 16 with. Once we are there, we can access this Rise of Iron armor. Each of these packages contains one piece for each character, and you can access them as many times as you would like, so you're never going to be wasting a piece of equipment while you're infusing your highest light level from your initial character, over to your second and third characters. You can continually get these pieces and continually infuse them across each other without losing some valuable pieces that you pick up during the game. Now, while we equipped our Rise of Iron armor onto our initial character and infuse our 390 level gear into it, we are going to go and complete our regular Siva strikes. You can get skeleton keys in these, and you can pump these out a lot faster than heroic strikes. So by getting skeleton keys, you can really specify which light level you need to increase on a specific piece of gear. I'm going to include a link in the description below that gives you a graph that shows you the specific strike that gives the specific piece of gear. So for example, the Fallen Saber strike gives a heavy weapon and a helmet. So if your heavy weapon is your lowest light level or your helmet is your lowest light level, you're going to want to complete Siva Crisis Strikes until you get a skeleton key, and then you're going to want to go to your director and you're going to want to go to your Fallen Saber strike and get that chest at the end. When you go to this strike, make sure that you equipped it to a 320 strike because that's the one that has the chest at the end, and you can access your heavy weapon or helmet. When you get that piece, you're going to infuse that into the weapons that you're using for the heavy weapon or the Rise of Iron armor that you have equipped. You're going to continue this pattern until you are comfortable with your light level on that initial character, and then you're going to want to pay attention to your ghost, your artifact, and your class item. So artifact, ghost, and class item, because when these are low, your best option for getting them higher is going to the Plaguelands Patrol and going to the Archon Forge. The Archon Forge drops ghosts, artifacts, and class items up to 400. So if those three are your lowest, go to the Plaguelands, do a couple Archon's Forges, get a offering, and try to get into a party with 2 or 3 people. And just a tip for you guys: when you are entering the Archon's Forge, don't sprint. Walk slowly from the initial doorway until you get to the actual spawn of Archon's Forge, because a lot of times this helps out with spawning an additional fire team in there already doing a forge. I've done it a number of times. It definitely does help rather than riding your Sparrow all the way in there. A lot of times when you ride your Sparrow in, there's no team in there completing a forge. So just a little tip for you guys if you want to do the Archon's Forge. And then keep doing the Archon's Forge until your ghost, your class item, and your artifact are above your other pieces. And then go back to getting skeleton keys to increase the specific piece that you need. If your boots are lower, actually, that being said, you cannot get chest or boots from any of these strikes. So you're going to do strikes until your gloves, your helmet, your class item, your artifact, your ghost, and all 3 of your weapons are higher than your chest and boots. Once they are higher than your chest and boots, it's time to start thinking about doing the hard mode raid. That's what we're going to get into next, and you're going to continue to use your Rise of Iron gear for that hard mode raid, because you're going to be getting close to 400 before you do that raid. And then once you do that raid, that first set of drops on that initial character is going to allow you to infuse that stuff into the gear you're wearing, and then take that Rise of Iron gear and infuse it over to your second character. And then when you run your second character through the hard raid, you're going to be still at your max light level. And you're going to infuse that into this Rise of Iron gear for that second class. That second class is not going to have any legendaries, so this is going to work out perfectly. There are 2 reasons why we want to use the Rise of Iron armor in this method. The first is obviously because your second and third character, if you're just starting out, are not going to have any legendaries to infuse your highest light level across all 3 characters. The second reason is because as you get closer to 400, you're going to start getting repeat drops in the raid, and you're going to either the same light level or the same piece of gear, and using the Rise of Iron armor is going to allow you to keep that piece of gear for your endgame instead of infusing them all across your characters. By infusing the Rise of Iron armor, you can continually get these pieces from the book, so you're not wasting a piece of gear that you like. After you've done a raid and you've either gotten a pair of boots or chest higher than the rest of your gear, return to strikes with the skeleton keys to once again get your helmet, your gloves, your weapons back above your boots and chest before you go to your next character and raid on that next character. The skeleton keys are very, very efficient at getting a specific piece other than your boots or gloves close to 400. And also, if your ghost and artifact and class item are low again, go back to Archon's Forge. The skeleton keys also do drop artifacts up to 400, so that's another method that you could use to getting an artifact, but I like to use Archon's Forge because you can also get ghosts and class items very, very efficiently while getting your artifacts. So once they are once again over your chest and boots, transfer all your gear over to the next character and do the next raid. Follow this pattern over and over because the raid and Trials of Osiris are very effective at getting boots and chests, which can't be achieved through skeleton keys. So if you follow these patterns over and over and utilize the method of transferring your infusing your Rise of Iron gear and transferring it to the other Rise of Iron gear on your next character until you hit 400 with one complete set, you are going to very, very quickly get to 400. Once you reach 400 on one character, so one complete set of items are at 400 and you have one character at 400, you can continue to do Trials of Osiris on that character, and you can get 400 pieces in regular drops on Trials of Osiris just from playing. And then all of those 400 pieces of gear that you can get, you just infuse those over to your other two characters, and very, very quickly you have all three characters at 400. This has to be the most effective way I found, and the fastest way I found, of getting one complete set to 400 by transferring the gear across all of your characters. I got it done in just under a week. And just through that last Trials of Osiris, I was able to get all three of my characters to 400. So it can be done. This is the method that I chose. It was very, very fast, very efficient. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you need help, definitely let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitch. I can help you with raids. My roommate's very, very good at Trials. He might be able to give you a hand there. But as always, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and stay on the bean. You do you. Live life your way, because that's the way it is meant to be. Cheers, you beauties. Does end on October the 31st, so November 1st there will be no Festival of the Lost. But to begin, you want to start off by going to the tower and coming over to where the speaker is.